G'day friends, and welcome to week 17 of my Mounjaro weight loss extravaganza. I hope you had a great week. Mine wasn't that good this week. I had a resurgence of back pain, lower back pain, that I haven't had for a couple of years. And I've realised the reason for it is that I haven't been riding my electric skateboard nearly every day. And that torque, that twisting and constantly turning is what kept my back fit and healthy. But I haven't been doing that. I haven't had any specific back exercises that have alleviated that problem. So I've also had insomnia from my knee keeping me awake at night. Like I keep waking up half a dozen times a night. Every time I turn over, it hurts. Not really bad, but it's just discomfort. It's enough to keep you awake or wake you up when you turn over. On the plus side, it's my birthday today, 69, and a lot of people have remarked I don't look a day over 68. Very exciting news. I've got a new fitness piece of apparatus coming. I've ordered it on Friday. It should be here next week. Put in the comments down below what you think it's likely to be. I'll give you a couple of clues. It can be used indoors or outdoors, and it doesn't plug into the electricity. So leave a couple of comments down below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it, because the comments, for me, that's the whole essence of this channel, is the comments and the interaction that I get, which segues me into another thing about the comments. I want to read three comments out that I've had in the last 2 or 3 videos from some lovely people, and I'd just like to share them with you. So please indulge me on my birthday. All right. You can't say no on my birthday, surely. So yeah, I'll get my phone out and I'll read a couple of these out for you. Okay, the first one is from Kim at Olive City Oasis, and she was responding to my video on the old lady, the 96-year-old lady who got the post out of the ground by herself and showed me up. I'll pin that above, somewhere up here, and she says, "Looking super healthy and fit, Martin. You're definitely going to be ready for surfing again once your knee heals up and the weather cooperates. Great story as usual. How in the world did you get that post out? Crazy. I bet you really enjoyed the look on your face when you saw the post lying on the ground. By the way, good work on that fence, straight and true. It's amazing how you're able to find these places so many years later. I love seeing the old buildings. That brick alleyway was so narrow, a bit creepy. Thanks for sharing a bit of the old woman's life. I always loved hearing my grandmother tell me about her life as a very poor child. She did grow up during the Depression. She was born in 1926. Her father was a tenant tobacco farmer, and her favourite pastime as a child was to play barefoot on the railroad tracks that ran through the centre of the small town. When she graduated at school, my grandmother, Dottie short for Dorothy, took a train up to Washington DC and got a job during World War II to send money home to her family in rural North Carolina. She was a tiny, beautiful, quiet Southern girl, sweetest, kindest person ever. She was also practical, smart, a great cook, and as tough as nails. A young Navy man on leave in DC met her, fell in love, followed her back to North Carolina, married her, and brought her home to his family in California before he went back to the war, but that's another story. I named my third third child, Dorothy, Dee Dee, after my grandmother. She lived to her mid-90s just a few years ago and was considered the best person in the world by her entire extended family. And probably everyone else who knew her. Thanks for starting my day with memories of her. So that was Kim at Olive City Oasis. So, you know, that was just, and not only was it a lovely comment, but she told me a story, which is, for me, is just absolute gold, you know, because it's like a connection to, it's a connection to another time, another continent, another family, you know, it's just magic. So, okay, this next one's from What's Up with Richard? And he says, kayaking is a very popular activity here. Personal crafts or rentals, they dot the river all summer long. I have seen some similar to yours, set up for fishing in small lakes here. I have only kayaked once. That was a group paddle in the reedy swamps of South Carolina in the late evening with my daughter, paddling in front. As the sun set and evening loomed, we kept getting further and further behind the group, and it was becoming darker and darker. All we could see were the tiny lights of the other kayaks bobbing in the distance. Visions of being lost, being accosted by some strange swamp monster danced around in my brain. It was at this point when my poor parenting skills kicked in. I love this bit. And in no uncertain terms, so I urged her to actually put the paddle in the water and use it for the purpose for which it was intended. Long story short, we made it back to the group dock just before they launched the surf party. I love my daughter, but not my first choice of a kayak partner anytime soon. And I got a real laugh out of that one, Richard. It was just brilliant. So, yeah, once again, it's a story, you know, a story from someone's past, a real story. And that's the connection for me, you know, that's where we join together, is in the stories. And it's always been thus, you know, like if you took someone from 100,000 years ago and put them around a campfire, you know, if they could understand the language, they'd instantly understand what was going on. If you were sitting around telling stories, they'd automatically just sit down and go, oh yeah, it's story time. You know, whereas if you stuck them in a cinema or in front of a mobile phone or something, they'd be terrified. They wouldn't know what was going on. So, okay, now before the last comment, I'll give you my weight down below. Let's see what we've got. 89.25. That's just over 2 kilos. Woo! Yeah, I'm pretty happy, you know, I think it's just over 2 kilos since last week. That puts me below, that's just over 20 kilos that I've lost in 17 weeks. So I haven't quite worked out what that means in average weight per week. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm hoping with this new bit of equipment that I've told you about, that I'm going to drop a fair bit more weight from utilising it. So anyway, here's the last comment. Okay, this last comment pertains to my last video for Jay, and it is indeed from the man himself, Jay of the Black Sheep Diaries. And he writes, "G'day Martin, thank you for this video, my brother. You've no idea how much I enjoyed it, even though we didn't have fish for dinner. Started a new gig this week and it's Friday afternoon, a very long and stressful week. And just finally home, but headed right back into the old grind for the weekend to keep the bases covered, with not a day off in sight for a while. Taking the place of a very nice young man that nobody wants to see go, so you can only imagine trying to fill those shoes. And I've got huge feet too, 14 double wide. I was very lucky to get the opportunity, though, as nobody is hiring folks over 60 here. So I'm trying to keep that in mind as I accept this new challenge. So this video meant the world to me, mate. I can't say it enough. And I'm so happy you're able to get back out there, as it tells me that your knee is much better along with the weather. You're my trooper, bro. You let me know that nothing can stop us. We're never out of the fight or the fun. Hat cams off to you, mate. Ding it, you. And that ding it pertains to, we've got this thing between us. We're talking about ringing the bell. He told a story on his channel years ago about being out on this cruise ship and sneaking into where he shouldn't have done, where the ship's bell was, where you're only supposed to ring it in an emergency, and he's rung the bell and got into heaps of trouble. So yeah, that's what the ring the bell is all about. So okay, that's all, folks. I hope you have a fantastic week. My next video hopefully will be the unboxing of this mystery piece of equipment, which I can't wait for. I'm really excited about this, and it's not cheap either. In fact, it's so expensive, I've had to pay it off. I've actually paying so much a fortnight because there's no way in the world I could afford to buy it outright. So yeah, stay safe, and we'll catch you on the next one.